When I found Marietta, I didn't just find a place to go to college. I found so much more than that.
I found friends. I found sports.
I found my passion.
I found family.
I found my calling. I found a place to call home. Discover what you can find at Marietta by visiting marietta.edu today.
Center 15, a tragedy in Germany takes the lives of 2.
And Justice Department employees is arrested for leaking information.
We'll have these stories and more at News Center 15 starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Thursday's edition of News Center 15. I'm Jared Ruffin.
And I'm Anthony.
Topping our news this afternoon, this Wednesday in Halle, Germany, a shooting took the lives of 2 individuals. The shooting took place outside a synagogue on Yom Kippur, and the assailant has been apprehended by authorities. The incident was broadcast live on the streaming platform Twitch and was promptly removed by the company, who was still working to prevent the reposting of this event.
Wildfire threats in California have left several residents in total darkness. The result of officials cutting power and preventative measures, thousands are impacted by the planned out outages, and it may take days before power is fully restored across the state due to weather conditions and equipment checks.
What's the weather like out there?
Here to provide a first look at the weather is Landon.
Well, it's good to see you again, Jared, and nice to meet you, Anthony. As you can see, we're in the full swing of autumn the first couple of weeks. Right now, it feels like 59 outside with partly sunny conditions, so we're just getting rid of the last of our summer temperatures. The UV index is pretty low, but the air quality outside is rather good, and the pollen level is about low-medium range, 3.3%. That rate is going to rise in the next couple days, and I'll tell you why later. Right now, the winds are running about 1 mile per hour at the southwest. The humidity outside is about 95%, and the sun has risen today at about 7:30 in the morning and is currently scheduled to set around 7 o'clock tonight, more accurately 6:54 in the evening. As I just said, the pollen level, there's a good chance it's probably going to be rising in the next couple days. That's because as we go into the weekend, we're going to be getting a little bit of rain. But I'll go into a bit more detail on that when I come back later on in the broadcast for the 5-day forecast. So until then, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you. So, the Justice Department says Defense Intelligence Agents or official Henry Kyle Freese has been arrested and charged with disclosing national defense information. Prosecutors allege Freese accessed 5 different intelligence reports and provided information about another country's weapon systems to a reporter he was in a relationship with. The prosecutors also alleged information was provided to a second journalist at another news outlet.
A new study finds that FEMA buys blood-prone homes more often in wealthy, populous counties than in poor rural areas. Even through lower-income rural areas may be likely to flood. Researchers say this is probably because better-off local governments are better at applying for and administrating the programs through. This has not been confirmed. The FEMA official says state and local governments decide where buyouts occur.
When WCMO returns, we will have an update on parades, politics, and prosecutions.
We'll be right back.
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
HPV? Didn't know that.
A federal judge has extended the deadline for the indictment of a man jailed on unrelated charges after the deadly Dayton mass shooting. U.S. Magistrate Michael Newman has granted a joint request in the Ethan Coley case, giving prosecutors through November 12th. The order notes that if provides more time for a pre-indictment resolution, authorities said there's no indication Coley knew his friend Connor Batts was planning the shooting August 4th.
The Democratic Party's national leader and 5 of its presidential candidates will highlight the Ohio Democratic Party's annual state dinner. The state Democrats say Sunday's dinner at the Greater Columbus Convention Center will feature National Chairman Tom Perez and the candidates Pete Buttigieg and Julian Castro, Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer, and Tim Ryan. The first 4 of those are among the 12 contenders set to debate October 15th at a nearby Otterbein University.
A Marietta man was sentenced to 2 years of prison Tuesday for his role in the kidnapping of a minor this spring. 23-year-old Kyle Davis asked Common Pleas Judge Markle Kearney for the opportunity to stay in his children's lives. Public defender Shawnee Landcare said her client was targeted by the 14-year-old teenage victim and that both mental health and drug abuse contributed to the March kidnapping. But the prosecution argued that the likelihood of recidivism from Davis was too high to risk an alternative sentence to a drug rehabilitation program.
With a scenic cornfield and a river as a background, a slight autumn breeze, and an aroma of some of the best food anywhere, the Lowell Oktoberfest celebrates the area's German heritage, and laid-back festival created the perfect atmosphere for relaxing, eating, enjoying live entertainment, and catching up with friends and relatives. The Oktoberfest was held on October 5th and 6th. One of the most notable performances was by none other than the Mountain Rhythm Cloggers.
Coming up next, hopeful sisters, business recals, and farting Teslas.
We'll also get to the latest news from Hollywood.
And what we can expect from the weather.
What you can expect from the weather this weekend, we'll get a little bit of rain and a bit of a cold front. How long will that stick around and how will that affect the work week going forward? Stay tuned after the break for the 5-day forecast.
Where are we?
We are at Marietta College.
This is where we live. at Marietta College.
A 6-year-old girl with cerebral palsy thought she'd never be able to walk, but those first steps came just last week without any help, which is inspiring families around the world. Cameras were rolling as Love Johnson took her very first steps with her new crutches, showing pure joy. Ever since those first steps, Love Johnson has been practicing walking and getting better each and every day. Now the whole family hopes to use this moment to inspire other families.
IKEA has recalled 7,000 infant bibs that could become a choking hazard for babies. The company says there are concerns that parts of the snap closure on the Machva bibs can fall off. IKEA says it's received 2 reports of that happening, but no injuries were reported. The bibs come 2 in a pack and are pink and blue, like the ones you see here. Other colors of similar bibs are not at risk. IKEA is asking consumers to stop using the bibs and return them to any store for a refund.
Elon Musk tweeted his company's plans to launch a customizable horn and movement sounds for its cars. Movement sounds are artificially produced noises electric cars must make to help warn pedestrians they are in motion, since they run so quietly. Most manufacturers opt for a futuristic roaring sound, but Musk wants coconuts, goats, and flatulence. The coconuts are likely a reference to an scene Monty Python and the Holy Grail, while coconuts banging together were used to mimic the sounds of horses trotting. The eccentric executive also says he may give owners the upload of their own sounds for the car's horn. A new look at the War movie, and a Beatles record sets a new record again.
Also, a big star makes waves in Marvel movies. John Saunders has it all in the Hollywood Minute.
Well, John Saunders is out today, but I'm Cooper Holmes of your Hollywood Minute, and one screen legend answers another. Martin Scorsese made some waves when he told Empire magazine he didn't watch Marvel movies because, quote, that's not cinema, liking the blockbusters to theme parks instead. Samuel L. Jackson, who's been in 11 Marvel movies, dismissed Scorsese's comments, telling Variety, quote, films are films, and not everyone likes Scorsese's movies either. Also coming up, there's an action aplenty in the latest trailer for 1917, the World War I epic from director Sam Mendes, about 2 young soldiers charged with getting a vital message through enemy lines. 1917 opens December 25th. Abbey Road is #1 again. The Beatles classic tops the UK album chart 49 years and 252 days since its original reign atop the chart ended. That's the longest gap ever for an album between stints at #1. Paul McCartney tweeted, "It's hard to believe that Abbey Road still holds up after all these years, but then again, it's a bloody cool album. In Hollywood, I'm Cooper Holmes, back at you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Cooper. And now we'll head back to have a look at the weather.
How does it look out there, Landon?
Well, as of today, it looks pretty clear outside. As you can see here, throughout the middle of the country, the winds, as I mentioned earlier, are currently running at the southwest. So this was the bit of rain that we had a couple of days ago. And that's a big reason why it's so clear. It's not clear for the midwestern part of the country, but that's good news for us. As I mentioned, we're in the first couple weeks of fall, so our temperatures outside are starting to experiencing a bit of a decrease in warmth, and that's not affecting our neck of the woods all that much right now. But it is going to be affecting us in the next couple of days as we get into the weekend and go into the next work week on Monday. And here's how that'll happen. Tomorrow, as we end the week, as we begin the ending of the week on Friday, we'll have a last bit of summer temperatures with a high of 80 and a low of 55 with partly sunny conditions. Then as we officially begin the work week on Saturday, we'll have a sharp drop with a high of 64 and a low of 34 with a chance of rain. That's a big reason why the temperature is going to drop so drastically. Then after we're done with the rain, it's going to pick up a little bit on Sunday with a high of 67 and a low of 37 with rather sunny conditions. Then as we start the next work week on Monday, it'll continue about that range with more partly sunny conditions. That's a good way to start the week, sunshine. And then the temperature will start picking up a little bit more on Tuesday with a high of 70 and a low of 49. So we're going to be having partly sunny conditions on and off as we transition into the end of this week and the beginning of the next week with a slight break of rain on Saturday. But, well, we're all happy that fall is here. And I'm certainly happy to be back here doing the weather for you all on WCMO NewsCenter 15, and I'm looking forward to doing that a couple more times later on in this year. So I'll be back later on at the end of the program to give a brief recap of what we've just talked about. But until then, back to you guys at the desk.
Well, thank you very much, Landon. And when we come back, we'll join us with an update from the world of sports.
See you in a few.
I think it goes around.
Come on, buddy.
I'm here for you.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Look, look.
Why is it so hard?
Let's go. We gotta get you in practice.
I read it. Look, and it stopped.
Where are we?
We are at Marietta College.
This is where we live at Marietta College.
Cancer may be tough, but we are tougher. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Our game-changing research has led to the belief that the cures for cancer are in our blood. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Beating cancer is in our blood.
now we're back with a look at sports. So, George, what's up?
Nothing much, you know. Sports is cool, all that jazz. And for our first story, that's right, two-time Super Bowl MVP. Oh, there's a different one. Okay. 22-year-old Simone Biles has become the most decorated female gymnast in history after she won her 21st World Championship medal in Stuttgart, Germany. 15 of her medals are gold, the most World Championship gold medals ever in gymnastics history. Today's event, she won gold in the women's team final event where Team USA competes versus other countries. It was Team USA's 5th straight world team title. The rape case against former NFL star Antonio Brown will now be heard in a Florida state court. Tuesday, lawyers for Brittany Taylor said they voluntarily dismissed their lawsuit from federal court and refiled it in state court. The new civil case demands a jury trial on rape, battery, assault, false imprisonment, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit does not make any specific judgment requests in her filings. Taylor accuses Brown of rape and 2 instances of sexual assault. Taylor used to train the wide receiver. Brown denies the allegations. The New England Patriots released him from his contract after the NFL launched an investigation. The Philadelphia Flyers have created what it's called a disassembly room to let fans express their urge for destruction in a contained environment. The space is inside the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Fans will be able to destroy items like guitars, televisions, dishware using a variety of tools from baseball bats to hockey sticks. It's the first ever so-called rage room built inside a major professional sports arena. The concept was first seen about 10 years ago in Japan and has since spread to the U.S. 5 minutes of smashing will cost $35 for one person or $60 for 2 people. Rihanna has confirmed rumors that she said no to Super Bowl 2019 to offer support to former NFL star turned activist Colin Kaepernick. The singer, who was born Rihanna Fentley, told Vogue in an interview that she, quote, just couldn't be a sellout by performing in the halftime show. Instead, Maroon 5 took the stage. Fentley also said that there are NFL practices that she doesn't agree with. Kaepernick, an ex-49ers quarterback, made the headlines for kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial inequality and police brutality. The NFL later ruled that players can't kneel on the field and should either stand or wait in the locker room.
Well, thank you, George. And now joining us at the desk for our last look at the weather is Landon.
Thank you so much, Jared.
No problem, Landon. So you want to give us a rundown about what we should expect?
Well, there's not a whole lot to talk about. So basically what it is that as we are going into the end of the weekend, we're going to have a sharp decrease. We're experiencing 80 right now, and we're going to experience a sharp decrease to about the mid to high 60s because we're going to be getting a chance of rain on Saturday. But then the temperatures will slowly start to creep up into the very, very low 70s as we begin the next work week on Monday. So, yeah, it started, I think, about the second to last week of September. We've been into it for a couple of weeks now, and, yeah, the temperatures are slowly starting to respond accordingly, although they don't always do that considering our little neck of the woods.
Well, nature never really listens to what I have to say. So
it's never consistent.
Makes sense. Well, thank you for joining us for this Thursday's edition of WCMO Channel 15 at 12:30 and 6:30. From all of us here at the station, we hope that you guys have a great weekend.